welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that is perfectly balanced as all things should be. I'm your host, Max Mosier. Welcome back. Infinity Bros Universe, how you doing? It's great to hear back from you guys. It's great that you're joining us. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thanks for making us part of your podcast experience. I'm here with two other Infinity Bros today. And the first Infinity Bro I'm with, I was hearing him chew on some gummy bears, Jolly Ranchers, who knows what. It's Robbie Sauter.
We are testing out a ASMR streaming platform here on the Infinity Bros. So I just wanted to give Max and Isaac a little taste of taste, get it? Because we were eating Jolly Ranchers. Taste of what we might be doing here in the future.
I'm intrigued and I'm nervous, but maybe we'll get more listeners, or maybe we'll lose all our listeners. I don't know.
Both things are possible.
Both things are possible. And all the way from beautiful Minnesota, where Robbie and I are, it's Isaac Edlund. Isaac, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, guys. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk some Spider-Man. I'm always ready to talk Spider-Man, though, so that's not new, but, you know.
Do you, Isaac, feel at this point in your Spider-Man journey towards this movie and what will more than likely be the ultimate Spider-Man Endgame movie, do you feel like at this point you're more like Jonah Jameson or like one of the Speeder Parkers?
Spooter Parkers?
Spider-Man.
Speeder Parker.
Do you feel like
Peter Parker? You're not Parker.
Do you feel like you're more like Jonah Jameson at this point or Peter Parker? And
towards the movies, or
well,
just
I'm just
in
saying,
general?
like, you know, Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3, or Spider-Man 2, excuse me, he gives up his ability to do Spider-Man,
Sure.
and he's walking down the street, and raindrops keep falling on my head, which I am in that camp that song should be playing to start the next Spider-Man movie. Like, that should be the intro of that movie. Are you that guy shoveling a hot dog down your throat? You're like, oh, I can't wait. I'm so jolly and excited. Or
this is a really long analogy.
Would you just let me talk, Robbie? Would you just let me go?
I'm just waiting for the point of this analogy.
Or are you more like Jonah Jameson? I said Schmiderman. That's the reason. We'll get to the advertised content, people. We're going to get to it.
You're not Spider-Man.
Or are you demanding for more pictures of Spider-Man? Are you the guy that's like, nope, I'm just going to let the journey come to me? Or are you the guy that's like, get me pictures of Toby and Andrew now?
I'm definitely Tobey Maguire, just kind of like doing his thing, not caring about all the problems in the world. That's definitely me. I've never been a guy that's all about like researching every leak and I don't know. I just like the experience of seeing everything for the first time. So I feel like trailers that reveal too much and leaks and stuff like that kind of end up ruining that experience. So I'm definitely in the not care in the world, like, you know, Tobey Maguire, who's just like you said, shoving a hot dog down his mouth, watching the ambulance and the police cars go by, not responding to it at all. Yeah, that's definitely me.
That's definitely you. And for those that don't know, you're a nurse. That's definitely you when you're at your nurse's job.
Oh yeah, right.
Completely ignoring everything, playing cards.
Yeah, playing
Robbie,
cards. Yeah.
Are you more like Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy? And which version of Isaac do you want to kiss more?
I love these analogies. I still have no idea what's going on, but I love them.
I'm definitely a Gwen Stacy. I have a long history of head trauma, so that's me.
Yeah, you are. Yes, you are.
Woof.
Yeah. Woof. I've got nothing smart to say about that. I just agree completely. Welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that has long analogies that nobody else gets but me. We're grateful you're here. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, TikTok, and if you have the itch to Twitch, come check us out on there. We're streaming, and if you don't notice, I guess there's no really way of telling this unless it's on, you know, TikTok. I'm now using a camera. I now have a backdrop.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm not as cool as Robbie. Robbie looks like, you know, a professional streamer. He's got the gear. He's got the Why So Serious poster. He's got the LED lights. Isaac looks like somebody who's who's going through a midlife crisis.
You look like you live there. Yeah, you look like you
Have
live
laundry on the bed behind me. Yeah, that is me. I'm living in my mom's basement in a room like completely shut in. My job is in here. I never leave this room ever.
You're Earth Prime Zane right now.
No doubt. And you're 2 weeks to flatten the curve, Isaac. That's what you are right now. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, Isaac. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. I think I've said we have a jam-packed show 80 of the 97 times we've had an episode. But this one
Do you
is
have an
jam-packed.
analogy for that?
No, that just was an observation, okay. Healthy observation. We will be talking heavily about Spider-Man today, and there are potential rumors, little bits that we will be talking.
Little bits.
There are little bits. There are little bits we'll be talking about.
Little bits.
There are little bits that we'll be talking about, so we want to make sure that before we dive into any of that, and we talk about Dune, we're talking about the movie Dune that was released a couple weeks ago on HBO. That you just are.
Hear the excitement in Max's voice.
Yeah. Well, you can tell what my review is going to be already.
What a turd. Everyone else heard like you just give that like the worst like tone ever, and they're like, oh, this guy's going to be the top.
He's going to review Dune.
Well, actually, it was art.
Dune's the greatest film of all time. Why didn't you talk about it? Okay, we'll talk
He's just mad because there's sand.
I don't understand why he's mad. So talk about Spider-Man, talk about Dune, and we're going to close it out because it's Thanksgiving week with our top 5 Thanksgiving foods. I believe this will be the most controversial top 5 of all time. Robbie, can you confirm or deny that?
It might be.
I'm up in the air. Me and Isaac were talking about that a little bit before you graced us with your presence. I'm not sure. I felt like it can go either way. It could get volatile or it could be very civil. I'm not really sure where it's going to go.
Yeah, Isaac definitely gets aggressive on top 5, so we'll have to make sure we keep him in line.
Yep. So definitely. That's definitely who I am.
Before we dive into anything, we want to make sure that you are familiar with our rating system and how we rate things on the show. So we're going to go ahead and put that bumper right here.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible and 6 meaning absolutely excellent. If all of the Infinity Bros rank something a 6, it gets an infinity step.
Additionally, we are going to potentially spoil, because we're going to talk about little bits, and these could be spoilers. We don't know.
Little bits.
We will also talk about Dune, and we will spoil that movie in depth, and we will spoil potentially Thanksgiving for you by talking about foods that you either love or hate.
Or just make you salivate while you're listening.
Or literally spoil the food you're eating.
Or, yeah, maybe.
You could be listening to this while you're eating Thanksgiving.
This could be happening right now.
Yeah. Maybe that's what will happen on Friendsgiving.
Who knows? So we're going to go ahead and put that bumper right here.
This is...
Prepare yourself.
An Infinity Bros.
Prepare yourself.
Spoiler. Warning.
I think my favorite thing about having a new camera is I go here and I'm pointing at myself. It's very fun. And if you're listening on a podcast, which most of you are, that doesn't help you at all with the explanation I just gave you of how I do that.
Yes, this is terrible podcasting right now.
I think it's elite level podcasting, but let's talk about the big eight-legged.
Robert Spiral would disagree.
Let's talk about the 8-legged freak in the room. Spider-Man No Way Home. When Spider-Man's identity is now revealed, Peter Parker asks Doctor Strange for help. When a spell goes wrong, dangerous foes from other worlds start to appear, forcing Peter to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. It's directed by John Watts. Chris McKenna, Eric Summers, and Stan Lee are getting credited for the writing. Stan Lee continues to get credit for writing these comics. Do you think he deserves writing credit for every movie?
Not every movie, but I think he deserves. Credit, and I think what they should start doing is start crediting comic book writers and artists for their comic books, as I hope they'll do in the Hawkeye show that's coming out. Because I've seen David Aja and some stuff. I haven't really seen much of Matt Fraction, but I'm really hoping they at least put him in the credits for sure, if not more.
They should credit the comic book writers and artists, specifically when it comes to costume design, because there are people that are getting paid a lot of money for these costume designs that they're just taking straight from the comic books.
Yeah.
So yeah, those people should be getting credited. 100%.
I'm actually more in that camp than I am the writer. I think artists deserve significantly more credit in the context of how we credit these things. We're in the weeds on that question, but that's a real question in all this. You know who's in this movie: Zendaya, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Holland, Marissa Tomei,
Who?
Jon Favreau, Willem Dafoe,
That's a made-up name.
J.K. Simmons, J.K.
That's not
Simmons,
a real person.
Paula Newsome, Alfred Molina, Jamie Foxx, Jacob Batalon.
That's all. Like, if you just think about it, that is a wild cast. Like,
That's not even all the cast. Let's be honest.
That's crazy.
Ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves.
It's crazy.
It's coming out in December 17th. You will hear a review for that the weekend of this movie right here on the Infinity Bros podcast. So make sure you subscribe so you can hear that. You'll also hear a review next week of the Hawkeye episode 1 and 2. I doubt that we don't have an episode without Jared on. I think Jared will be on.
Oh, yeah.
Episode
He'll be on every episode.
He's the biggest Matt Fraction Hawkeye.
The whole episode is just going to be Jarrett talking to himself.
He's going to take over. Yeah.
Let's talk about this second trailer that came out a couple weeks ago. Very highly discussed trailer. The big question that everybody had in this trailer was, are the original 2 Spider-Men going to be in it? And instead what we got was Dr. Octopus saying, "You're not Peter Parker." I'm so confused right now.
I don't know if you're asking anything right now, but like
that's a weird segue.
Yeah, I personally absolutely loved how they handled this trailer. Like, I do not want to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire until I'm sitting in my theater seat, my recliner, sitting back, sipping some Mountain Dew, chomping on some popcorn with Zane right next to me. I do not want to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire until I'm in the theater. Like, that's going to be one of the coolest reveals of the year, is those guys in this movie. Because, like, I mean, it's like 99.99999% repeating, of course, percent chance that they're in this movie.
Leroy.
So I'm all in on how they did this trailer, but as we are going to talk about, they did give us little nuggets, little breadcrumbs about
Yeah, they gave us a couple things. Robbie, were you disappointed in the fact that the Spider-Men were not in this trailer?
I'm confused that Batman wasn't in it. I was really like, when Doctor Strange was like, "Oh, they're coming through," I really expected we were going to get a grappling hook.
It's going to be this is the segue into the DC versus Marvel movie.
I just really didn't understand. I really thought they were gonna go and make a really good movie here and really try something. And it just seems like they're just gonna make another easy peasy comic book movie, like, oh, there's a big spire in the sky and they have to defeat the villains coming through. But I think they could have taken some chances. I think they went the easy route. I don't think they went the hard route. They went the easy route.
Robbie, I think you are the funniest person I've ever met. And I believe we lost Robbie. No, are you here, Robbie? Are you still here?
You and my mom think the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I also think you're the most handsome guy here.
Oh, good.
Well. So that really works out well that we both think that. I'll answer the question legitimately, since Robbie just wants to take the easy route out and go political.
I'm confused.
I think this is a huge mistake that they're not showing at least a silhouette of the 3 of them. I am in the very small minority camp that thinks that you have to tell the general audience right now that they're in it. Granted, this trailer all but confirms that they're in it, right? It says, look, all these villains are from these other places. It essentially confirms that Molina is, in my opinion, my interpretation of this trailer was Molina is definitely from this other universe. The one that we're familiar with, Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. Also, how Doctor Strange is speaking about them dying. And that just feels like that's going to be a great tension in this story. I hope we're not getting okie doked there. I really do hope that Peter does have to make the difficult choice to free these guys and go, I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I have to free them just based out of how I value human life. I really like that dichotomy with him and Doctor Strange. And so the point I make is I really think that at the end of this, I would have liked to see 6 legs all have red and blue on the legs, and just we all know they're going to be in it. Anybody who cares about this movie knows that these guys are going to be in it. I totally understand Sony and Marvel's choice to keep this close to the vest, but you've edited so much crap out. You've made it very clear at this point that you're not going to show your cards on it, and it's just getting annoying. And there's a difference between how Endgame did it.
If we already know they're going to be in it, then what's the point of showing them in the trailers? Like, I totally disagree on that.
There are common people that are not going to care about seeing this movie. That they're like, this is a lot. I gotta care about a lot of crap.
Well, here's the thing: the common people are not the ones going on opening night. They're the ones going the next week or the next week after they've already read a review of what the movie's about, or they've heard from their buddy that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield are in the movie.
That's fair.
The common person is not going on opening night. Opening night is for the diehard Marvel people who already know that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are already going to be
Marvel
in it.
exclusive. It's Marvel exclusively.
I mean, superhero community, maybe you could say.
Okay, just wasn't sure if I align with DC, I'm not allowed to go.
Yeah, sorry, you're not allowed to go to this opening premiere, Robbie, as a DC fan.
Dang,
I'm sorry.
that's really important.
Sorry to inform you of that.
I'm buying what you're saying there, Isaac. I get what you're saying. I guess for me, I just wanted to see Six Legs get me somewhat excited about this. To me,
nope.
The person you can't reveal that, and we'll talk about this in little bits more, and I'll open this can of worms up right now. There are rumors that Matt Murdock will be in this. That's the individual you don't have to show me. You don't need to show me any of him in a trailer. And apparently there were rumors, according to Scoopers, that some of the trailers, because there was like 6 trailers they had to choose from with this. Apparently Sony was like putting them all under a hat and like picking one out randomly to show.
And they picked one that showed someone getting punched.
Well, that was Brazil.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a minute. If you're not familiar with what we're talking about, we'll talk about that in a second. So the point I'm making,
if they haven't seen the trailer by now, then what are they doing?
Well, but they might have not seen the Brazilian trailer is what we're talking about. Some people haven't.
I think that might have gotten more views. That might have gotten more views than the actual trailer.
Maybe.
I hope so, but I'm speaking to our audience because Robbie, I don't know if you know this is a podcast. So you have to.
I thought this was a video podcast.
Well, it's a video diary for you. Yeah, for your beautiful life.
I keep getting confused with my.
I know it's very confusing. So
wait, we're not on Twitch?
Yeah, no, we're not. So
thanks for the sub.
Hey guys, sub below. So the point I'm making here, Isaac, is I really firmly believe that I just wanted to see one tease. That's what I wanted. I didn't need to see them in full getup. And I think it's really ridiculous that, for example, with Andrew Garfield, the poor guy is just getting grilled by media.
He is. Oh, he's going through the ringer, dude.
Yeah, dude. And Tobey Maguire doesn't do anything. Tobey Maguire ain't anything anymore.
Tobey Maguire,
he doesn't do anything else.
He cares zero for the fans. He's like, no, I'm gonna do me, and that's it. And which is fine. Like, if I was a celebrity, I'd probably be like Tobey Maguire, like just screw everybody. I'm just living my own life.
Well, it's because he made the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made. He doesn't have to care about anything anymore.
That's an argument to be made. That is an argument.
Toby's the man. Toby is the man.
He is the man. I agree.
I'll just like, I just want to bring this to the forefront. I'm still not 100% sold that Toby is in this movie.
You are nuts.
So hold on. So you're saying, you said Toby specifically. Andrew, you think Andrew is in it and Toby is not?
I know that Andrew is in it because I've been on Twitter. Here's the thing. I've been on Twitter. I've seen the photos. There are set photos that, and maybe they're fake, maybe, but there have not been any leaks that Toby is in this thing.
Yes, there have. There's been a picture with Toby and Andrew.
I have not seen that picture.
Zero chance that Andrew is in it and Toby is not. Like zero chance. It's either all or nothing. Like they're going.
No, I don't think it is. I think I said this in a previous podcast that they might use his suit, but maybe it won't be Toby.
No, you're nuts, dude. Toby, there is literally a picture of Toby and Andrew from a different set photo. Yeah, there is.
It's probably a different movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's probably Amazing Spider-Man 3 that never came out.
It's just a really, really good edit.
Yeah, it's a really good edit.
Well, okay, so
boss logic.
let's pause and kind of backtrack so people can catch up with some of the things we're talking about. So there was a leak months ago, about 6 to 8 months ago, that Robbie's referencing, where it appeared that Andrew Garfield is in a blue screen set, and he is in the classic Spider-Man pose, one hand on a bar, And that is him on set with
Well,
Tom Holland.
Yeah, with Tom Holland.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the picture you're referencing. Then a couple weeks ago, I believe 2 weeks ago, John Campea of the John Campea podcast show, which Robbie, you and I have talked about.
No, we talked about this because I saw him getting grilled on Twitter, and I refused to look. Are you going to reveal something that I haven't seen?
I don't need to reveal it.
Was?
I don't need to reveal it if you don't want me to.
Now I already know what it is.
I don't know. You actually don't. I haven't described the picture.
Well, how you're described, like how you're leading up to this,
here's how it was, Robbie.
It's going to make me real sad.
It was Batman and Robin.
No way. And Spider-Man?
and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What was Arnie doing?
He was actually married to Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy.
Wow.
Wild stuff. Couldn't believe it. So I will not describe those pictures out of fairness to Robbie and some of you that don't want to see them. But apparently
or hear about that.
Honestly, some people think those aren't real anyway, Robbie. So like in my opinion,
a lot of people think they're not real.
Yeah, so there's an argument in my opinion to be made that that's not even a real picture. I am the opposite of you, Isaac. I love to see all this stuff because I know half of it is gobbledygook. And so I love to play the game of like what is real, what's not real. I enjoy that. That makes my experience way more fun.
But then
watching
so you enjoy that, but you don't like when we share we got this covered links? Like what the heck?
No, we got this covered is
I don't understand. You like all these leaks that are potentially real and potentially fake, and then you're out here not accepting we got this covered. They're a real website with real people.
You just want more content, right? Like throw it all at you.
They got ideas. Maybe they got their sources. You don't know. You don't know them.
They have ideas. You're right. So these pictures come out. I won't describe the picture, but if you're interested, you can check those out. Go Google search John Campea Spider-Man. You'll find him immediately. And he thought, Robbie, he goes on a show the next day and goes, I thought these were fake. Now, am I 100% sure that he thought that? I don't know, but that's what he's telling people. That's the first thing. So this all comes out, and then this trailer comes out, and there's a couple of big rumors. So obviously, Robbie, you and I talked about this earlier, and we've talked about this offline, is Matt Murdock is a huge, like, rumor of is he or is he not in this movie? And there's allegedly a scene, this is a little bit, that he is talking with Peter and has a scene where he doesn't necessarily show that he's Daredevil, but he shows a power skill set that represents that he's Daredevil. And I don't know if that's real or not, but I'm pretty confident that he's in this movie probably. And so for me, getting back to it, I wish that to me would have been a bigger surprise to not share over.
That would have been yeah. No, I agree with you there. That if they had shown Daredevil or Matt Murdock, I would have been upset. Showing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in this trailer, I would have been bummed, but like it would have still been awesome to see them. So yeah, I can't lie.
Bummed. Nobody would have been bummed if we had seen them. Not a chance. I fight back on that. We would not have been bummed.
Okay, bummed maybe is a strong word for it. I would have been let down that they're showing too much. That's what I would have been.
That's fair.
It's the Doomsday effect from Dawn of Justice, Justice League Dawn of Justice. Like no one knew that Doomsday was going to be in it. It was supposed to be just them fighting. And then they show the Doomsday, and then it's like, oh, so they're going to fight like in the end of second act, and then they're going to fight Doomsday. And everyone knew, and everyone was pissed.
Right, and then you already could guess the whole plot of the movie based on that
Yeah, you guessed
trailer.
the entire thing.
So in this trailer, we also get to see Doctor Strange kind of square off a little bit on Peter Parker and Spider-Man. We're seeing him fight him, and we're seeing this moral dilemma now occurring where Peter is, at least when you watch this trailer, trying to save these multiverse villains. I would assume from watching the trailer that Dafoe is going to be the main villain and the leader of this quasi-sinister six they've built. I don't even know if they're going to add a six. They might just be five. And then Venom is shooting down the line in another movie. I don't know. But from your perspective, because this is the part that nobody's really talking about that I think we got to really break down here. Doctor Strange has a very big role in this movie based on these trailers. And I feel like he's getting shooed under the rug a little bit in the context of, everybody's focused on these Spider-Man, the potential Matt Murdock bit. Spider-Man's got his crew of buddies. Is Jacob Batalon's character of Ned going to be Hobgoblin's been a really popular question because he lost a ton of weight. where are you seeing with that, Isaac? What are your expectations from Doctor Strange, and how much do you think this is going to bleed into Multiverse of Madness?
I think this whole movie is leading up to Multiverse of Madness. I think Doctor Strange has a huge role in this. And I think, honestly, they're trying to downplay his role through these two trailers. Like, I think they're kind of like misleading us in the direction of where his character is going in this movie. And they even kind of showed it a little bit just through the first two trailers. Like, we see two very different Doctor Stranges in the first trailer as opposed to the second trailer. And it is pretty wild, like how much different footage and how different these two trailers are. But the first one, we see Doctor Strange and he's like, all right, let's do the spell, blah, blah, blah. The second one, we see him basically like staying out of it or trying to stay out of it. And like he's trying to make Peter clean up this mess is what it looks like. And I don't even know which one is the accurate one, if either of them are. I think the full context picture is like completely hidden through these two trailers. So I think he's going to have a huge role, though. This is obviously going to open up the multiverse and lead into his movie. So
Robbie,
I think.
Oh, I'm sorry for cutting you off, Isaac.
No, you're good.
Robbie, I have read a lot of theories that this is not really Doctor Strange. Is this our universe's Doctor Strange?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. And I know you're the Doctor Strange like nut in this show, because you just love yourself some Doctor Strange, don't you? You love yourself some Doctor Strange. No, I think this is our Doctor Strange. I think this opens up the potential for more Doctor Strange. Another Doctor Strange. I think it opens the door for that potential, but I think the one that we're viewing is our Doctor Strange. Or is it a Skrull? I feel like that's the popular thing to say when you don't know in
Yes,
Marvel talk.
Skrull.
You just
It's
go,
Skrull, guys.
or maybe
Been
it's
there.
a Skrull.
I have been there. Let me tell you that. Here's where I would like to interject. I have a very small theory. This is just purely Max Mosier. I have a partial belief that this could be a different multiverse Doctor Strange. And here's kind of my reasons why. One, he doing the spell, they're going to have to explain that in this movie. And that's going to have to be very well explained. And I still think even at the end, there's going to be some consequence to the decision regardless. That decision feels very out of sync in the context of the Doctor Strange we've had, who saw 14 million possibilities and only one of them was going to, achieve success in Endgame. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I think this is a different multiverse Doctor Strange, because I think our multiverse Doctor Strange is already doing Multiverse of Madness with Wanda. And I think that that's the reason that I think he is showing Peter that, I really want to stop these guys. Oh no, it's so tough. But on the flip side, he is trying to kind of break things down. I think this could be a Doctor Strange from another universe. We could find out. Is he potentially a Skrull, Robbie? I don't know. That's an argument to be made. It could be. I just don't think so. But the reality is,
I think he's a Skrull.
I don't think
I think
that. I really don't. I was
I
just trying to feed into your theory.
Skrull. I think
I just
Yeah, I think
there
it's-
is a part
Are
of
they
me
all
that
Skrulls? Is this like a Skrull movie?
maybe
maybe Tobey Maguire's a Skrull.
Skrull the movie. That's a good question. Maybe real life Tobey Maguire is a Skrull.
It's both.
Both and I just firmly believe that there's a chance that this could be I'm willing to bet. I would say 30% chance that this is a Doctor Strange from a different universe, simply because the decision-making process for him just feels so out of sync, and to do what he's doing is so weird to me.
That felt really weird the first time watching the first trailer, where it's like, why is he allowing this whole spell to go down? And then it gets messed up by Peter somehow. Like, it just didn't make sense for the Doctor Strange we know. Which leads to my next conclusion, that he's a Skrull.
There it is. I think basically what it comes down to is it's Mephisto. It's always Mephisto. That's what we've learned through the past year of the MCU. No. Okay. Good. So I think this is a classic like MCU like bait and switch. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but Infinity War, we got shots of Hulk in the trailer, which he was not in that movie. Or no, was it Endgame? Yeah, it was Endgame, because Hulk was not in Endgame. No, it was Infinity War. He wasn't. It was Infinity War. So Hulk was not in Infinity War, but we got shots of Hulk in the trailer because Marvel was purposefully trying to deceive everybody into thinking that he was there and, you know, part of the crew and stuff like that. I think that's what this is. I think this is all context. Like, they're taking all of these Doctor Strange clips like completely out of context, and they're like kind of just like making them look like super weird, and they're just trying to throw everybody off the scent, honestly, is what I'm thinking. So that's what my guess would be, is that this is our Doctor Strange, but they are doing some manipulation in these trailers to make, because if you go shot for shot, compare these trailers, there are like 2 specific shots of Doctor Strange that are the same, but they have different backgrounds.
Agreed.
Yeah. They're definitely trying to pull something over on us. I obviously we won't know what it is until we see the movie. But I think it's just Marvel just trying to throw everybody off the scent.
I cannot believe I'm saying this, but we're less than a month away from this bad boy, and it's going to get here quicker than we think. And
yeah,
so I just want to talk about predictions real quick, because, you know, next week it's going to be Hawkeye. And basically from here on out, you're going to hear Hawkeye reviews. And so I just have a couple questions for you guys. I want to hear give me percentage chance that this happens, or if it's a yes, if it's a or question, so it's either this or that, tell me why you're choosing which side. So give me the percentage chance that all 3 Spider-Men are in this. Isaac, go.
I think it's 100%. I'm like fully on board that both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in this. I fully disagree with Robbie. If Andrew Garfield's in this, Tobey Maguire's in this. There's no way he's not. So I think 100% both of these guys are in this movie. And we didn't actually touch on it, but like the Brazil trailer had Lizard getting punched by an invisible figure, which obviously was somebody
Morales.
Edited out. Miles Morales. That's clearly the
Thank you for bringing that back up, because I did tease that, Isaac. If you go watch the Brazilian trailer, you'll see Lizard actually have his face get contorted.
Yeah, he gets punched by an invisible figure, which is, I mean, it's obviously got to be a Spider-Man that they edited out of the trailer. So I think 100% they're both in this trailer. Or in
Robbie, what's your percentage?
96.9%.
Okay, you said that earlier. I'm with you, Isaac. I'm gonna go 100%. I just don't see how you give this kind of trailer to us without it. I'll even take a step further. And this is my next question, so I'll start it off. What's the percentage chance that Miles Morales makes an appearance in this? I'm going to say at least a reference to Miles Morales is 75%. At least a reference. I'll say an appearance would probably be more like 25%, because you have to pick an actor, and that's the guy that you got to roll with for the next couple of years in this.
Right.
So I think at least there's going to be a reference to him. So 75% reference. But I'll say 30% on he's going to show up in some regard.
What counts as a reference? Because they're going to talk about other Spider-Men. Will that count?
Like, for me, I wonder if like Electro,
like actual Miles Morales.
Electro looks different than the Electro from Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, he's classic Electro.
I wonder if he's from that world personally. That's kind of or like even Sandman. Could Sandman be from there? And it's because his face just looks
so like
different
if Electro goes like, my Spider-Man starts me on like can't affect me because of his electricity or whatever, like makes that kind of reference.
That'd be sick.
Ding ding, I'll take that.
So here's the thing though, just based on that, Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man movies is basically the ultimate Electro, which would technically be Miles Morales' universe. His classic look right now is like the normal universe. I mean, that's a little tidbit. Who knows? They could literally do anything they want with this movie, but I don't know why you would change him to the classic Electro and then say he's from the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah,
unless they're just totally throwing the Ultimate Universe out the door, which they absolutely could.
I think it's just a pivot. I think it's a pivot from like I went back and watched the electro scenes from Amazing Spider-Man 2 because the music just slaps. And
Dude.
the scene
Dude,
where
I know a lot of people didn't like Electro. I loved Electro in those movies.
he was great, but he just looked bad. He just aesthetically looked very, very bad.
For how like good the visual effects and that movie is, it's so poorly written that it's just really a shame.
Yeah, it is. It's not gonna shame.
But
so Robbie, odds that Miles Morales is in this, or reference
that he's in it. I'm gonna say 0. I just think it's too much. And like you said, you'd have to pick an actor. That he's referenced, I could see that. I don't think it's a high percent. I'll give it a 15% chance.
Will one of the major villains die on screen, and if so, who? Isaac.
yeah, absolutely. Who is it going to be though? That's a good question. Well, we didn't actually see Sandman die. I don't know if that would really be, or Lizard. Yeah. I don't know if either of those guys, I don't think that would be super like impactful if they died though. So if a villain were to die, it's got to be Defoe or Green Goblin or Doc Ock. Like those guys are going to be instrumental in this movie. I think potentially Doc Ock could even be like a mentor for Peter in this movie. Like he looks like he could potentially be trying to help Peter out at certain points.
He gets some like Iron Man type arms at some point in this movie.
Yeah, there are
like,
some.
I think there's a switch that happens
here.
I think there's a very high percent chance that Goblin dies.
I could definitely see that. I think I think if there's a guy that would die, he's the guy that would not. Like you could see Doc Ock. Doc Ock is like kind of semi-rational, like he can actually rationalize things. Green Goblin can't. He's crazy. So like he's going down if he is opposing Peter.
Crazy.
I feel like he cray. So it probably is Green Goblin. I'll go with you on that, Robbie.
What are the odds that we get Wanda Maximoff in this movie?
I think not good. I think that's way too much. We already have so many characters in this movie. I'd give that like a 5% chance. Basically 0.
0% chance. Like I said, there's just too much.
Wow, I'll step in then. I'm on the opposite end of this. I think it's 90%. I think she's going to be. I think she's going to be in a. I would bet a very small amount of money she's going to be in a post credit scene. This just doesn't. It makes too much sense for her. to be in a
post credits would be like a little different.
Okay, forgive me. If I included post credits, would that change your percentage?
Yes, it would, because the post credits are going to lead into Multiverse of Madness, probably. So
that's the reason I say that. That's the reason.
Okay,
I say that.
All right.
I would jump mine to 15%.
Okay,
I'd jump mine to 75% if we're saying post credits, but actual movie, like 5% to 0%.
Part of me feels like this is all her fault. Like part of me feels like Loki will be the one that can identify some of the issues here. He'll like in the grand scheme of this whole thing. Loki's going to be the one that can gather and guide everybody to where they need to go. But Wanda is the huge precursor to it because of her being a Nexus being. And I just feel like she's like causing some of this. I don't know why my feeling is that. I feel like Multiverse of Madness. I just really, really did not like WandaVision. Another episode where I'm bringing that up. And I just really,
and
really
we're back.
I just think she's going to be a villain. I really do.
It was a boner joke. Just get over it.
I think she's going to be a villain. I really do. I think she's going to be a villain. So that's all I'm saying on that. Will a major character from Peter Parker in the MCU, will one of his major relationships die? Will one of his friends or family die?
They showed the whole like Zendaya falling thing that they did with Gwen Stacy. I don't think she would, and I think if they killed off his buddy, Ned. If they killed off Ned, I feel like people would riot. So I don't think so. I'm assuming those are the two we're mostly talking about. You could be talking about Aunt May, but
or Happy.
Don't say don't. You think no.
Well, Well, I'm
Shut
trying
up.
to understand what you're trying to say here. Are you saying that you'd be offended if Happy was killed, or are you like, no, he's not even part
They
of the
will
universe?
not kill Happy. That's crossing. That is, yeah, it's Marvel Zombies. Who gives a crap? This is the MCU that he helped create.
Yeah,
They
Isaac-
are not, absolutely not killing him.
Robbie, I am on the other end of the spectrum. Happy is the one that I think is totally toast. I think it's
Really?
Aunt May that are toast. I think they're both gonna.
Wow.
You think,
I think-
Aunt May's toast too?
I think he's gonna lose the two adults that would secure him moving forward. And I've said this for a while. I think I said this 2-3 episodes ago. I think he's ending up in another universe by the end of this. I think he's going to be out of our universe, and that's how they solve the problem of how do you move forward without him in this. How do you move forward with this Peter Parker without
That's
him being in
bold.
the MCU? I just think he's not going to be in this universe anymore.
Because what? They're going to send him to Venom?
I don't know.
Venomverse?
That's a
Yeah,
great
they're going to
question.
send him to
Garbage that would be.
Sonyverse. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
It would make sense.
what
that,
cold, dark hell would that be for us?
what a cold,
Oh.
what a cold space for us to live in.
He just shows up in
that'd be
Morbius
terrible.
next year.
Oh gosh.
Oh, goodness.
Isaac, who do you have? Robbie has.
I think.
So
I think.
Robbie, who are you saying then? Are you saying so? You're not saying anybody. You're saying nobody's going to die.
I don't think so. I don't think Marvel likes to take that chance. I think, especially since this is like, we talked about this a little bit the other day, that this is Marvel's first like big ticket movie since Endgame. Like, there's been good movies. They've had movies. Well, there's been Shang-Chi. Black Widow was garbage. Whatever. They like, Black Widow was garbage. I don't care what you
disagree
say.
with
I haven't got to say anything about Black Widow. That movie is completely useless. Completely useless movie. Bottom tier Marvel movie.
You made your point.
Anyways,
Let's go.
Okay. I don't think they're gonna take big chances on characters dying in this. I think the bigger chances are introducing characters. I think that's what they're gonna do because they have to fill the void. I don't think they're gonna take from the void that they've already created because of Endgame. I think they're going to fill the void.
That's fair. Isaac.
I think I don't have a great percentage chance. I think there's maybe like a 40% chance that one of his friends or allies dies. But if somebody does, it's got to be Ned. Like, it just makes too much sense. Like, we've heard rumors about him becoming Hobgoblin for a long time now. If he were to become the Hobgoblin, the perfect intro for that would be him dying and then coming back either in a later movie or later in that same movie as the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, like
I don't
Bucky
think that's going to
Barnes.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think that's the most likely thing to happen if somebody were to die. So,
And finally, the final question here is: will we see Kirsten Dunst or Gwen Stacy, who's played by Emma Stone, appear? Now,
I'm
I want to
I'm
share
all in on Kirsten
YouTube.
Dunst.
YouTube just had a video 6 days ago. Variety had a video from Kirsten Dunst talking about her entire career, and the Spider-Man picture is the main thumbnail. I, for sure, I'll start us off. 95%, I think they're both in it. It just,
Both in it?
I think they're both in it. I forgive me. I think Kirsten Dunst is in it. I think if
Okay.
this is the Andrew Garfield past
The other
that
one is
moment,
dead.
then she would be passed away. But I think there's a chance that they could retcon some of what happened in that movie, just for like, and that's why Jamie Foxx looks different. Like, exactly. There's got to be some retconning. So part of me thinks, I think Kirsten Dunst is going to be in this. I'm Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Give me Kirsten Dunst all day.
that poor guy. I have to pause. I have nothing but respect for him that he hasn't cracked. Tom Holland would have been toast, and that's why they're not asking him.
So, okay, speaking of Tom Holland being toast, did you guys see they did a video where they were watching the trailer like the day before that it came out? And like Tom Holland got caught going like, "Where's the?"
Yeah.
And then like paused and like sat back and just like, you know.
Here's the other thing that's wild. Here's another thing that's wild real quick. I just got to make a point too. This is how old these people are. J.K. Simmons is 66. Defoe is 66. Molina is 66. And I forget the actor's name, but the actor that plays Sandman is 61.
Okay, if those three, the first three that you just wait. If those first three,
that's wild. I had no idea.
If those first three, all 66-year-old men,
no, if Molina's
they
68.
fight with no abilities.
68.
Okay, whatever. So if those three men fight, who are you taking on a fight?
J.K. Simmons, no question.
It's 100% J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah, J.K. Simmons.
Question.
Okay,
J.K. Simmons.
I just wanted to make sure we were on the same
J.K.
page.
Simmons.
Oh, last question I wrote down that I forgot to give you guys. Matt Murdock, is he in this?
Yes, I think he is.
I think he is too. That rumor just feels too specific.
It's been swirling for so long, but I feel like all of the other rumors have been like debunked, and there's nobody debunking these rumors about Matt Murdock. Like they're still swirling. I think he's in it, and we've been hearing rumors about Daredevil season 4 for potentially Disney Plus. So like, sky's the limit. I think he's in it.
Bring it back, Marvel.
Let's do it.
Bring it back. It's one of the best. It was one of the best things that Marvel did. Bring it back.
Absolutely.
Robbie, is he in it?
Great show.
I really just my heart says no, but my head is like listening to you guys, and it's like maybe he is in it. So I'll give it a 60. I'm a 60-40 split. I'll say he's 60% chance he's in it.
Okay, all right. Isaac, you're the residential Spider-Man fan. How pumped are you? What is failure in this movie before we transition to Dune?
Wow, that's a great question. Honestly, my expectations have always been high for this movie, but they were like, I was like a little cautious that like, oh man, this is getting like way overhyped until this last trailer. Then I was like, screw it. I don't even care. I'm 100% in. I am 6 out of 6 hyped for this movie. Like this is the movie that I've been most hyped for since Endgame. Like I am going to IMAX opening night of Spider-Man No Way Home. There's
a chance, just based on the history of this character and how much it has gotten us to the point we're at. Like those Tobey Maguire movies were pillars to get us to where we were at. There's a very real chance this could be the best Marvel movie ever made. Like if they do it right, this could be the best one ever made.
See, there's still a ton of expectations with bringing in all of these new characters,
right?
Or new characters to the MCU. But like, man, at this point, like I don't even care. I'm just on board for the ride.
Let's talk briefly about Dune. It is the feature adaptation of Frank Herbert's science fiction novel about the son of a noble family entrusted with the protection of the most valuable asset and most vital element in the galaxy. It was directed by Denis Villeneuve. Writers were John Spaeths, Denis Villeneuve, and Eric Roth. It stars Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Stellan Skarsgård, Stephen McKinley Henderson, Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, which was like out of left field for me watching this movie. I was like, oh, he's in this. Wow, that's wild. Sharon Duncan Brewster, Chang Chen, Dave Bautista, David Dalsmalchian. Man, is that guy having a great year for movies, dude. That guy is just a killer year. Charlotte Rampling, Benjamin Clementine, Babs, forgive me, I'm not going to try that last name. And then a slew of I'm just not going to try that. Forgive me. It's a late night. 8.2 rating on IMDb. I'll get the Rotten Tomatoes score. But Robbie, let's start with you. Tell us your rating of Dune.
So I have to start this by talking about the first time I watched Dune. I was like falling asleep. So like I couldn't focus on it because I was just dead tired. So the first time I watched it, I messaged the group and I was like, I don't know if this is a good movie or not. I think is kind of how it went. And everyone's just like, dude, if you were falling asleep, you probably need to watch it again. So I did. Once I was able to watch Dune and like be alert and awake and watching it, fantastic movie. It is a great ride, and I think, and maybe this is where someone else on this podcast might come from, because someone else on this podcast might view it as Mad Max meets Star Wars, which would explain why maybe someone on this podcast, not going to name names, thinks that this movie is garbage.
Okay.
and that someone might be wrong. But this is a
Robbie. Do you just want me to go?
No. I'm still going. I'm still going. I'm still going. This is a beautiful movie that takes a lot of thought, and you also have to go into it knowing that it is part one.
Correct.
If you go into this movie thinking that this is the feature, like this is it, you will be disappointed as well, because that was another reason that the first time I watched it, I was like, that's it. So if you know this is part one and part two is already in production and is on its way, you, as long as you like sci-fi and apparently Mad Max, will love this movie.
I'll go because someone's subtweeting me. This is a 2 out of 6 for me.
Oh god!
I did the same exact thing you did, Robbie. I watched this twice just to confirm because couple things here. Let me talk about the good in this before I really, because I'm gonna have to defend myself on a lot of the bad. So the good. This is a visually stunning movie.
Hate sand. Gets everywhere.
It's coarse. My hands. I think the director here, Villeneuve, really crushed this in the sense of where they chose to film this, and the camera angles and the cinematography on this really is remarkable. And if this won an Oscar for Best Cinematography this year, that would not bother me. In fact, I would probably encourage it because I do think it's a beautiful production. I think that it's a great cast. These actors are working their tails off to make this happen, which is why I give it a 2, and it's not a fan-fortastic, which is a 1. And those are the two things that I can highlight that I like. I've never read Dune. I've never watched Dune, and maybe I'm just a lower intellect than Robbie, and that's very, very well could be the case. This is so boring. This was like all the bad parts of the first Star Wars movie, Episode 1. And it was like, it's just a boring movie. And Timothée Chalamet is a good actor, but he's just kind of dreadful as a character to watch go about. Zendaya's in the movie for 10 seconds. Oscar Isaac's great. Liked him a lot. And Stellan Skarsgård as the main villain playing Baron Vladimir Harkonnen was something else. This just isn't. This just isn't my cup of tea in the context of. I just don't think this story was going to.
That's the bottom line right there. That's the bottom.
I think that's the reality. Like, and that's okay. Like,
that's okay.
I don't have an issue with people liking it. I really don't, because I from afar, I can see why people like it. Some people have said like this was Star Wars before Star Wars, and I don't really see it that way. I'm more like, yeah, sure, the Messiah prophecy bit is there, and how he's got special powers and all that jazz, but just it just doesn't feel like a similar movie to me. There are several things that don't feel similar, so I understand why people like it. It just was this one just didn't land for me. It's a beautifully shot movie, and I will go see part 2. I do think, Robbie, I will concede if part 2 is like absolutely a banger, and if part 2 goes on HBO Max, I'll watch it because I'm not going to go see this movie in theaters. I'm not going to pay to go see part 2 in theaters.
See, and that's the thing that surprises me because like the cinematography is going to be amazing, even in part 2. Like, I'm actually disappointed that I didn't see like that scene where the ships came down and they like destroyed.
Oh yeah.
You know, I wish I would have seen that in IMAX because that was beautiful just on my 65 inch TV at home. I was like, this would have been an amazing scene.
Well, that's
also
that's
I
one
wish
of the
I
criticisms that I heard
like,
from so many people is that like this is a movie that you need to see in theaters at least, if not IMAX, because the experience of watching this movie is so much better in the theater.
Can I interject on that, Isaac?
Sure.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand what people are saying in the context of that. I firmly disagree, and Robbie, you and I have both talked about this on the podcast. Everybody's got a big TV now.
Right.
And I just think you can get the experience of watching this on a TV in a dark room in your house. I just don't buy that you have to watch things on a big TV. I understand the hardcore film critics will say that it's a necessity. It's part of the draw of going to the film. But let's be very clear. The screens we have in our houses are big enough to handle this kind of art. And I just think I could see that from my couch. I could totally see the cinematography.
It was absolutely beautiful. You don't get the sound effect. You don't get the immersion that you would get from an IMAX screen watching that. I think there are scenes because, and you and I are on the same side that we both agree. Like I can just enjoy most movies like to 95% of their potential at home. But I think there are scenes in certain movies that I see at home and I'm like, I wish I would have saw that on a big screen.
That's
and
fair.
that was one of those scenes.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
Right. Well, and here, okay, so here's my, right. So I don't think any of us on the Infinity Bros podcast are really like theater apologists. Like none of us are like, we need to see this movie in theaters or else, or like, you know, none of us, a lot of us have been streaming movies on HBO Max and other stuff, you know, as they come out as well. So it's not like we're only going to theaters to see this. But here's why I say this about Dune specifically, because this is one of the best sci-fi soundtracks I have ever heard in my entire life. Ever heard. The soundtrack made me keep watching this movie. Like I feel like if there was a worse soundtrack for this movie, I think I would have been right there with you, Max. I think this would have been a boring movie because I rate this movie a 5 out of 6. I think it was great. Cinematography is great, but they could have taken this 2.5 hour movie and condensed it to like an hour and a half and still got the same story.
Yes.
So that's where I have issues with it. They took a long time to tell this story that really didn't need that long to tell. And I get it, like it's the first part, so they're building some universe, they're doing some exposition and stuff like that. But again, it just felt like it dragged a little bit. But the soundtrack was what was like drawing me in. I was like, holy crap! Like this is a legit sci-fi movie. I felt that way because of the soundtrack. So that's where I'm like, I want to see this movie in IMAX because I want to get like that full like immersion, like you were talking about, Robbie, like this soundtrack blasting in my ears. Like that's what I want.
I think part two is going to have significantly more drama in the context of, you know, actual action. It's going to have more stakes in the context of how does this whole kingdom, this empire, you know, kind of resolve itself. And so Robbie, although I'm giving it a 2 out of 6, I do sit here and say like, there's a chance I could come back a year or two from now whenever this bad boy comes out and go, you know what? Part 1 wasn't as bad as I thought.
And you combine it all together and everything jumps up
I'm
together.
willing to concede that. I got to tell you, dude, I watched it twice. I watched it twice and I was like,
you gave it a chance.
This was not good. It just wasn't.
And now you just got to wait for the extended editions to come out so you can watch a 4-hour movie instead of a 2.5.
Hell no. Hell no. Robbie, last comments
on black and white.
Oh my god,
black and white.
Please do it in black and white though, and make the slow mo scenes even slower.
And
I don't think I actually gave my.
4-3.
I don't think I.
Yeah, what's your rating, Robbie?
I love the 4.3. I actually didn't give my rating. I'll give it a 5.5. I think basically what Isaac was saying, like there's a lot of moments that attributed to like the first time I watched it, me falling asleep because there are very slow, tediously paced moments where you're just like, come on. Because what I was going to allude to this a little earlier was that huge big action scene that happens about second act. I was like, holy crap, this is happening like beginning of second act. Like this movie's going to be wild. Like I am all in on this. And that was the biggest scene of the whole movie.
Yeah. Right.
And me,
as far as action goes,
and me, an idiot, thinking that this was the only Dune movie there was like, at the end of it, I was like, wait, what? You wasted the big giant cool scene in the middle, and the end is just a fight. But once I knew a little more and watched it the second time, like now that it all makes sense. But it's like, because of that tediousness, it's, you know, it is what it is. It's a 5.5. If they probably could have cut, like you said, like probably half an hour out of this movie, and it's probably a 6. But I'm all in on Dune Part 2, and I am very excited for the future
Same.
of the Dune franchise.
Yeah, honestly, like now that they have this kind of like universe built in this first movie, I'm expecting the action to be ramped up in the next however many movies they end up making.
Right.
So I think they're going to be awesome movies. I'm really excited to be on board for this franchise.
Let's it's been a while. Let's transition to the top 5.
We're going in 3.
You're entering the top 5 on the Infinity Bros podcast. Starting now.
Dude, this is great. In the past, we would do this every episode, but we kind of got away from it because we felt like, hey, this is really making our episodes a little longer. We want to trim some of the fat, and we felt like this was a very fattening piece of our episode, but a must-have.
But sometimes the fat is the good part.
It is,
So,
and that's why we are on the top
sometimes,
5 Thanksgiving foods of all time. This is this is going to be popular. So if regardless of what you think, if you agree, if you disagree, tell us if we're right or wrong. Leave us your personal top 5 list.
Yeah,
on
actually, you
Facebook,
know
Instagram,
what?
Twitter.
Before we do that, let's go ahead and say, if you guys share and like the social media post that is promoting this episode, it's going to be episode 96 of the Infinity Bros podcast. If you guys share, like, and reply with your favorite Thanksgiving food, we will do a drawing for a Funko Pop in a week after this episode releases. So share,
That's pretty neat.
like, and reply with your favorite Thanksgiving food on the social media post of episode 96 of the Infinity Bros podcast.
Isaac, are you for real?
Yeah, I'm for real. But you're
Funko
not
Pops
eligible.
are going
so,
up in price. What?
Yeah,
Okay.
you already have 350 Funko Pops, Robbie. You don't need one more.
I don't
need
understand
more.
why that's
I
a
don't
problem.
have enough. I need more.
Yeah,
Let's
I
go
feel
ahead
attacked.
and list our whole list. Isaac, will you start with your top 5 list?
Or do the whole list?
Whole list
Whole
straight
list.
away.
Yeah, we gotta
I
consolidate.
feel like that
the time.
takes
We're already
away.
an hour.
I
We're already
feel
an
like that
hour.
always takes away from the passion of the
right.
discussion.
Well, we're at an hour,
Well,
and
I'm
some of our
ready.
people are tired.
I'm ready, and I am absolutely ready to be consuming most of this on Thanksgiving Day as well. So
Friendsgiving.
here we go. Friendsgiving, yes, Friendsgiving. Number 5 is a classic for a specific people. It's lefse. I'm Norwegian and Swedish, and in lefse and lutefisk are at most of our family holidays, and lefse is something you just can't go without. Lefse is delicious. Spread some hot butter on that with some sugar or brown sugar. Whew, one of the best desserts out there. So stinking good. So lefse is my number 5.
Will that be at Friendsgiving?
Yes, I'm actually going to bring some for us. So if I'm assuming you guys
How
have had lefse
exotic.
before.
Yeah, we've
I
had
don't know what that
big
is.
big Lefse
Okay.
fans out here.
Yeah,
Emotional.
lefse is
I
good.
don't know.
It's good stuff.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you don't know what a lot of things are apparently. So
Yeah.
Boom,
number
roasted.
4.
Wow,
is,
that was really rude. Kind of hurt my feelings.
number 4 is turkey, but I have a specificity. I have a
That's not a
specification. Specificity. The dark meat of turkey. So I'm not a big white meat guy. The dark meat of turkey is where it's at. I will take all of the dark meat on the plate before I even grab one piece of white meat. But the dark meat turkey is the best holiday meat, and you can't change my mind on that. So that's my number 4. My number 3 is stuffing. It's classic. You can't have Thanksgiving without stuffing, and I'm very, very excited too. And there's the crazy thing about stuffing is everybody makes stuffing like so different.
The
Like, you go-
crazy thing about stuffing is
what's the
Sorry.
deal with stuffing?
everybody's got different stuffing. What's going on with stuffing?
So anyways, everybody makes stuffing like so differently. So I like trying everybody's different kinds, and it's awesome. So number 2 is pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. This is the one that I thought was going to be controversial because this is like 50-50. You either like love pumpkin pie or you hate pumpkin pie.
Shoo.
So-
Pumpkin pie, throw some whip
Some
on
whipped
there.
cream, like homemade whipped cream on top of
to
some
go.
pumpkin pie.
Well, it's not gonna be homemade.
good stuff.
It's getting fancy up in here.
Yeah, always homemade. Homemade is where it's at. But anyways, pumpkin pie is my number 2. always a classic dessert. And it's one of those things where like you can't really, I mean, you probably could if you search, but like you don't really eat pumpkin pie unless it's at Thanksgiving or Christmas. Like those are like the only times you ever really eat pumpkin pie. So like that comes around and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't had pumpkin pie for like a year. I can't wait to eat pumpkin pie again. So yeah, pumpkin pie, number 2. My number 1, I would have this every meal of my life if I could. It is scalloped corn. And that maybe that's a shock. Maybe that's a shock to you.
I did not think that was going to come out of your
What on
mouth.
earth are you, Isaac? Can I just firmly tell you that you are having an awful time making this up right now?
Yeah, you forgot the number 1 thing. Like, that should be on every list, maybe. Maybe I'm
find
crazy.
Out. We'll find out. Maybe
we'll get to it.
Oh, I'm nervous.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be number. Doesn't have to be number 1,
Now
but
I'm
like it
nervous.
has to be
It's
on the
probably not
list.
on my list.
Has to be invited to the party.
You're talking about mashed potatoes. That's what he's talking about.
I'm talking about mashed potatoes. Yeah, like
Mashed
it's not.
potatoes.
It's probably no one's number 1, but like it has to be. It's on your
it has
plate.
to be there. I only have 5
takes up-
options.
takes
it's
up
on the list.
The
if
mashed
we did a
potatoes
top
take
10.
up 40% of the plate.
Okay, Isaac, let's talk more in detail. Let me get to my list
Goodness
because
gracious.
I need to stir
Okay,
the pot more.
before you get going here,
Go ahead.
mashed potatoes. You can't have your plate 40% mashed potatoes because then you
you
don't
can.
have room for all of the other food that you're going
Yes,
to
you
have on your
can.
plate. Because mashed
Turkey
potatoes will
and ham
consume.
mixed
it
with
will
it,
fill
yeah.
your belly right up, and you got to.
You know what happens when you eat all that?
Have room for more.
You don't have
room
to
for
eat all that.
dessert.
It all goes in the same spot. It all mixes together. You can mix the mashed
That's
potatoes with your
fine.
stuffing.
I don't care
with your
about
ham,
that. I want to have
with your
room in my
turkey.
stomach to eat more food. That's what I want
The
to
mashed
do.
potatoes is the glue. Just put it in the middle and let everything else stick to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and
Toss
step
some
in
gravy
and
on that
just,
bad boy.
I mean, that
I'm
does
gonna
sound
go ahead
pretty good.
and affirm Isaac that mashed potatoes does not belong in the top 5.
Scalloped corn though is delicious.
What is
and
the
if you have
world
not
is
had
this top
Isaac,
5? This
Isaac,
is
I will
scalloped
tell
corn
you
is
that
amazing. I will have it forever.
this is the worst
I
top
know,
5 ever.
I know that my top 5 is gonna be missing a lot of things to a lot of people, but Isaac, I can firmly tell you of the 3 top 5s, yours is the worst. My number 5
let's
is
hear it
French.
then. Let's
my
see.
number 5 is French silk pie. I don't need to defend myself on this. French silk pie. is
Good pie. I don't
pie.
think of it as a Thanksgiving pie, but it's good pie.
It's a great pie. Number 4 is pumpkin pie. It is the classic
yep,
pie.
classic.
It is the
Classic.
OG
Of course.
pies.
Of course.
I would put whipped cream on it. I don't have this specific line item for that, but I will just assume that whipped cream is going to be on my pumpkin pie. Number 3 is macaroni and cheese. Now, this is a debate from some people
gosh, are
about
we
whether this is
basic?
5-year-olds?
or not.
Yeah, basic.
You basic.
If you grill,
You basic.
if you have.
This is from the same man that likes ketchup on his steak. Let's just
I
point
do
that
not
out
put
there.
ketchup on my steak.
Let's
My
just
wife
throw
puts
that out
ketchup
there.
on her steak.
Yeah, you allow it.
I put steak on my steak.
Allow it.
Macaroni and cheese at number 3. There are some people out there that just gave an and there are other people that are looking at you crazy. That's fine. Macaroni and cheese whales. Number 2 is Hawaiian rolls. This is the one, Isaac, that I feel is the biggest miss for you. Hawaiian rolls
That's
are
interesting.
Hawaiian rolls are the premier bread of all time. The only bread that can compete, in my opinion, would be sourdough, but that's just a personal preference. The masses would prefer Hawaiian rolls. You get a nice little butter on there, little strawberry jelly. You're really set.
Nah,
You're
you can
to
throw
go.
you can throw mashed potatoes
just-
on Hawaiian rolls.
You could. Robbie, you could.
Robbie's
do
just
whatever
putting
you
mashed
want.
Potatoes on top of his
You'll
whole
see.
plate.
You'll see at Friendsgiving, man.
Can't
I
wait.
just
You
mix
could
it all
put-
up.
You
Can't
could
wait.
take the roll and you could put a cat between it. You could put whatever you want in the roll. It doesn't matter. That's the blessing of a roll.
It would still taste good.
It tastes amazing. And then finally, I would say that stuffing is number 1. I believe with a good Jimmy Dean's sausage inside your stuffing, you cannot go wrong there. You can put anything on top of stuffing. You could go gravy. You could go. You could go. Dare I say ketchup on stuffing?
Oh wow!
Stuffing
You're
is
getting real
remarkable.
bold.
It works with everything. It is a great part of a meal, and it is.
You
the
know what
best
we okay?
Thanksgiving.
We missed an opportunity here. We should have made our plate. That's what we should have done.
Oh yeah, we should
That'd
have.
be cool.
We should have made our plate. Is
Yeah,
what we should
yeah.
have done, because you just made a like if that was a plate, you just made a
Right.
plate without protein.
Well, yeah, and like obviously we're not going to put our pumpkin pie and our desserts on the same plate.
Right.
as
That's
our
what I'm
main
saying.
course meal.
We should have made our top 5 plate. Like we're making a plate, like the first plate you get at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, then I definitely would have put turkey on my plate. That's a different question than the top 5.
I think we just have a miss there, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Misinterpretation.
It's a
Robbie,
miss.
you've got some strong opinions. Let's hear them.
Okay, so I spaced Hawaiian rolls because Hawaiian rolls to me are like it's basically your utensil. Your Hawaiian roll can be a utensil.
Yes.
So the Hawaiian roll I had cornbread as my number 5. Hawaiian roll has knocked cornbread off of number 5. Hawaiian roll is my number 5.
Good choice.
Because I'm going to make little Thanksgiving sandwiches with my Hawaiian rolls. It's going to be delicious.
Yeah, some turkey, some mashed potatoes, and gravy. Whew.
Maybe a little different, but then my number 4 is pumpkin pie. I think we all have pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is a classic. Brilliant.
I'm glad
my number
all distinguished,
we're all on
and
that.
intelligent human beings.
My number 3 is mashed potatoes. I'm shocked that you guys didn't have these on your list. Mashed potatoes is a must-have for Thanksgiving meal. And I understand maybe not having it on your list because like it's just there and everyone gets it. But
I will
it's not
agree that it's like
special,
an
I
essential.
suppose.
Like you can't
It's an
have
essential,
Thanksgiving
like-
without mashed potatoes, but it's like not the first thing that I put on my plate.
Oh, it's up there for me. My number 2 is stuffing, and the stuffing and the mashed potatoes sit right next to each other, so they mix a little bit to make some really nice mashed potato stuffing, connection. It's really nice.
Some nice
and then
flavors there.
nice connection there. And my number 1, this one could be controversial because it's not turkey, it's ham. Give me some good old slices of ham. Just put those on my plate. If I'm making a plate and I have to put it all together here,
We've got a ham guy.
I don't need to have turkey on there for Thanksgiving. I'll take some turkey just because, like, it's Thanksgiving. I have to have a little bit of turkey, but it'll be a few slivers. There's gonna be slices of ham.
Are you telling me we're hanging out with Ham Guy on Thursday?
We got a ham, baby. We got a ham. It's ready. We're ready to go.
Having a turkey. Is there going to be a turkey?
Oh, we got a ham and a turkey. We're classic up in here.
Okay, good. At least as long as you have both. I would be remiss if I went without turkey.
You have got to be kidding me, Robbie.
Ham is the number 1 meat of choice when it comes to Thanksgiving in this household.
I'm with Max on this one. I think you're gravely mistaken that ham is the superior.
Ham is far and away superior than turkey.
It's a shame this is on the back end of our episode
100%.
because a lot of passionate
100%.
people that get to this part of our show are going to be frustrated.
They're already
But there's going to be
lashing out.
I'm going to have some supporters and they're going to be just as loud.
Yeah, sure. Your wife.
We'll find out.
Your wife will get on Twitter and say some stuff.
I don't think my wife has a Twitter. I don't think she knows what that is.
Well, we've gone a little over, but thank you so much for listening today, guys. Hey, Isaac, thanks for coming on, man.
It's been a pleasure.
Hey, Robbie, get better taste buds.
Yeah, it's a learned trait.
Yeah, that's what it is. And thank you, Infinity Bros Universe, wherever you listened, however you listened. Thanks for making us part of your podcast experience. As we talked about at the front of the show, you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you made it to this point, we'd love for you to leave a review. We are giving away an Infinity Gauntlet in 3 episodes. Episode 97, at episode 100, we're giving away a free custom Infinity Gauntlet signed by us. I guess it's not custom; it's more of
I was gonna say it's not
decoration. Custom.
We
stuff.
made it
It
ourselves
could be.
with our bare hands.
Generated by our bare hands. We're giving away one of those.
We designed it on Jarrett's AI.
If you're interested in
that.
that and you understood that inside joke, you can leave us a review on iTunes or Podchaser, and you're immediately eligible to win that. As always, we love you guys 3000. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Infinity Bros. Feel free to send listener feedback via email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.